Hey all, Heretic here. Patch 32.2.2 drops today. A reminder, we only cover Battleground stuff here, so if you're a standard player, this isn't going to help you very much. I'm not going to cover 99% of what you'd care about, so just so you know, this isn't for you. Battlegrounds players, there are so many changes. Let's jump right into it. Okay, we're going to start with a Battlegrounds update, and this is a dev comment. This patch primarily targets the overperforming of cycling elementals, flops and flingers, murlocs, and spell-buffed undead, while also rebalancing stopping Stegodon beasts. We're also buffing underperformers such as Goldrum beasts, demons, and Quillbores that synergize with blood gems playing from hand, because they don't work right now. The adjustment to Stomping Stegodon, granting +2 attack but no health, is intended to reduce the comp's snowballing potential when minions survive too long in combat, which can lead to a frustrating play pattern, especially in duos. To compensate for the now more fragile Stegodon build, we're bringing back Polatron to give the strategy more late game potential. We will continue to monitor the meta as it develops and make additional adjustments as needed. Thank you all for your feedback for the new season, and we'll see you in the tavern. Now, I'm pretty happy with a lot of the changes you're about to hear about today. My only complaint is the infrequency of them. I feel like we needed this sooner. I feel like these changes, for the most part, seemed obvious before we even got these cards, which is a little frustrating. Obviously, there's a lot of outliers, things that ended up exploding we didn't expect to, but at the same time, ones who were overperforming, we all knew were gonna overperform, so that does leave some question marks in the process of how we got ourselves here, but at least we're gonna get fixed starting now. Now we have some armor changes. Now, I'm not gonna go over all the heroes getting less armor and more armor. There are some surprising heroes having less armor and some surprising heroes having more armor, but I'll let you make your own judgments on this. There'll also be a link in the description of this video that can take you directly to the patch notes if you want to see these. If you can't read them all, or if you forget, you can hit the pause button right now and read them too. Either way. All right, now for the meat and potatoes of it. Are you ready? Time to get into the minion and spell changes. We're gonna be here a minute, so get comfy. First, Nala the Redeemer. Used to be a 5/7. Whenever you cast a tavern spell, give a friendly minion of each type +2/+1, is now a 5/8. And whenever you cast a tavern spell, give a friendly minion of each type +2/+2. I love Menagerie. I always feel like Menagerie should be a viable option. And right now, I feel like Menagerie actually isn't horrible, but at the same time, yeah, some of the builds are pretty broken, making Menagerie not as competitive as it needs to be. A little bit of buff on Nala doesn't hurt. I'm waiting to see how it plays out. I'm hopeful. The original villain of this meta, the Stomping Stegodon, is getting changed again because it went from overbearing and ridiculous to essentially useless. Currently, 3/3 rally, give your other beast +1/+1 in this rally. Now going to be a 4/4 rally, give your other beast +2 attack and this rally. Now, this is an interesting change because they will be incredibly fragile. You're not giving any health, so your minions are not going to stick around like they had in the past. They are simply going to hit a lot harder. Is this good enough? Will this work? Only some games will let us know, but it's an interesting change. I'm at least willing to try it. It has some potential. Raptor Elder, the minion that no one cares about, got a change. It is currently a 2/7. Your beasts have +1/+1, improved by each beast you've summoned this combat, and that resets every combat, to now being a 2/8. Your beasts have +2/+2, improved by each beast you've summoned this combat. Now, it still resets every combat because if it's scaled forever, it would quickly be very, very good. But it's a 2/2 buff. I mean, it is going to get better every time you summon a minion, and it is double the buff, right? So maybe now it's viable. Like, it doesn't feel like much when I say, oh, it's a 1/1, now it's a 2/2, and you're like, it still does matter if you summon, 20 minions in a combat. Well, okay, a 20/20 buff no one really cares about, but now it's a 40/40 buff. Now, in the current meta where we're dealing with elementals and murlocs in the thousands, that doesn't matter. But maybe now, with the nerfs that we're going to be dealing with, it will matter. Or at least, hopefully matters. We'll see. Mama Bear, that minion that has been changed, probably, wow, I cannot tell you how many iterations of Mama Bear there has been. Actually, I couldn't look it up, but let's just go with far too many. But Mama Bear is currently a 4/4 whenever you summon a beast, give it +4/+4. Now going to be a 5/5 whenever you summon a beast, give it +5/+5. Obviously, this with Raptor Elder has some potential. Speaking of minions that have been changed so many times, Guldrin the Great Wolf, currently a 4/4 death rattle for the rest of the combat. Your beasts have +4/+4. Now going to be a 5/5 for the rest of the combat. Your beasts have +5/+5. Gives a bigger buff, but has more stats. That's not usually a problem, right? In the case of this death rattle, it's so late game. Typically, this is going to die pretty damn easy, unless they tech against it on purpose with a low attack taunt, which, hey, why the hell not? This could work. Currently, yeah, Guldrin's utterly useless, but with the other nerfs, maybe, just maybe, it can work. Stray Satyr is getting a change, goes from being a 1/6 to now being a 2/6, otherwise the same. This is unarguably a good change. You're getting more attack. Nothing else is changing about the minion. As a 1/6, it feels bad, especially when it's the only thing you can pick up. Sometimes in a bad shop, a 2/6 being the best minion makes this worth picking up just for that. Even if you have no other demons, well, shit, it's a 2/6. The rest of my shop's 1/1s. And for whatever reason, I don't feel like just going 3-on-3. I'm specifically thinking about turn 3 in this minion, you can tell, right? I'm like, but I don't want to buy a 1/6. I guess I'll just go to 3, but oh wait, there's a 2/6. So maybe there's 2 2/6s versus 2 1/6s. Okay, this feels a little better. If anything, it's a buff. Insatiable ur'zul is getting a change that a little while ago would have seemed insane, now makes it maybe viable. Currently, 4/6 taunt after you play a demon, consume a minion in the tavern to gain its stats. Well, now it's also going to gain an extra health, so it's a 4/7. Taunt after you play a demon, consume 2 minions in the tavern to gain their stats. That's a big difference. I mean, we're doubling the stats we're eating theoretically. I mean, there could just be really garbage minions in the shop, and no matter what you're getting feels bad, but theoretically it's a lot better. So yeah, I'm obviously excited about this change. Maybe ur'zul will finally be playable again. Silent Enforcer got a pretty good tech change here, and just better overall, but currently 7/2 death rattle, deal 4 damage to all non-demon minions. Now is going to be an 8/2 taunt death rattle, deal 4 damage to all minions except friendly demons. So yes, has your opponent found annoying demons and you want to nuke them with damage? Now you can. You can definitely do this. And this is an important thing, I feel like, because it's not so much demons you're worried about, it's about the all type minions you want to be hitting with this 4 damage, who have divine shield and whatnot. These are the ones you really want to be sniping with this. So yeah, this is a very good change. The friendly demon technical change, I adore. This is a fantastic change. Nimble Hatchling goes from tier 4 to tier 5, and while not a massive change, is important because it means there's less in the pool and it's going to be harder to find. And I feel like an early wing beat is really powerful, so good change. Twilight Watcher got beat down with the nerf stick a bit. Goes from being a 3/7 whenever a friendly dragon attacks, give your dragons +1/+3, to now being a 3/8 whenever a friendly dragon attacks, give your dragons +1/+2. I mean, it's a 33% reduction in the health buff is giving. That is decently significant initially. Yeah, late in the game, it's not going to matter that much. But in the early game, it does make a difference. So hopefully this makes dragons not quite as explosive when they get lucky with lots of wing beats. And this thing, we'll see. Blue Whelp goes from being a 2/6 to a 1/5, and I hate that change. I mean, okay, obviously this is good if you're going into a spell type build, you know, you're putting more health on there, that can really make a difference, but a 1/5 at tier 3 just feels painful. He does give a decent buff, I just don't know if it's worth it making him this useless on the attack portion of it. Like, he's less likely to survive, he's less likely to do any damage. It's essentially a glorified bumping minion now, and barely that. I don't know, I almost feel like Blue Whelp, it's not a massive change because what you're doing with him isn't really dealing a lot of damage. It's getting the effect, but it still feels really bad. Lantern Lava, the problematic elemental, has been fixed, kind of. I still think this is a problem. The moment you make it gold, it's stupid. And I still think this is going to be a problem. It just won't be as a problem as often because it's now tier 5 instead of tier 4, and it gained, you got it, stats to equal its tier. So now it's a 5/5 instead of a 4/4. Gleaming Trader got a bit of a change. Goes from being currently a 3/6 divine shield after a friendly minion loses divine shield. Your minions have +2 attack for the rest of this combat. to now being a 3/8 Divine Shield. After a friendly minion loses Divine Shield, your minions have +3 attack for the rest of this combat. And this is actually not a bad change at all. I like this minion. Gleaming Trader has surprised me with how useful it can be with a lot of garbage summons. And upping that attack 33% will be significant, I feel. Is it still like game-breakingly good? Can it compete with an elemental board that's got 2 Lantern Lavas, you know, a gold one, and all this stuff they want? No, it's still gonna lose, but feels better. Flotsam Flinger got changed. Currently 3/6 at the end of your turn. Trigger the battle cries of your minions from tier 3 or below to now be 3/7 at the start of your turn. Trigger the battle cries of your minions from tier 3 or below. And this is important because now quest rewards and Drakari Enchanter that will give you extra end of turn effects do not stack with this because it's start of turn. This is a good way to fix some problematic minions because much like battle cries, end of turns, all these things when you can have extra ones are a problem. And by making it a thing that you can't double, we're good. Please, just please never make a minion that says start of turn effects are doubled. Oh wait, there already is a trinket for that. And is that one still in the game? Is that one you can still get with your trinkets? I believe it's in dragons, but if you can get it with your murlocs, yeah, you can still make it work and be silly. We'll see. Overall though, still a major nerf to Flotsam Flinger. Still very effective, just not in quite the same way. Magic Fin Mycologist got hit with a nerf bat, also currently tier 5 2/8, now going to be tier 6 4/8. Gonna have the same effect, but tier 6 is gonna make it a little harder to want to buy this minion. Oftentimes I would have the Murloc build going and this just wouldn't fit in the build I was already doing because I'd already have too much because I would have the quest reward that was giving me the same effect. So I didn't really care, but we'll see how it plays out. It's definitely a major nerf to the Murloc build up. Baskill goes from tier 4 6/2 to now being tier 3 5/2. And oh, thank you. Once again, the numbers. This is a nice change. Often you're looking for Baskill to get that scam option going. I love me a can of scam, folks. Let's go. Let's crack it open and throw it at our opponent, see if they like it. This just means more scam. If you don't like scam, I'm sorry for you. But there's more. Would you like a bigger serving? Because I've got more to give you. Cold Light Diver goes from being a 4/1 to a 3/1, and I still like this minion. It's fun for spell builds. If you're running a Nala and you want a lot of spells, hey, here you go. Something to make you get more spells. I don't know if it needed the nerf, but I mean, to me, it didn't. But I guess they're running into it being too much attack. Not a bad nerf. Greedy Snake Tongue. Oh, what a surprise. Goes from being a 3/6 to a 2/4, and it's still good, but it's not as good. I mean, there's nothing more satisfying than going 3-on-3 with Reno and then finding this thing and in your shop going, oh, I'm just gonna buy you, just gonna play you, and oh look, it's a 6/12 that gives me 2 gold coins every time it swings. Suddenly I have 4 or 6 gold coins. Oh, thank you. GG, everybody. This is definitely a good nerf. Sundered Matriarch got an unsurprising nerf. Goes from being a tier 5 whenever you cast a spell, give your minions +1 health, to now being a tier 6 whenever you cast a spell, give your minions +2 health. So while it is a nerf because there's less in the pool, they doubled the buff. So if you get it early, and who cares how you're making spells, do you just have a bunch of blood gems you can generate? Throw this thing out in your board and just give your Quillbore all the health, or whatever the hell you're playing. I think this actually makes it, to be honest with you, a little better in a way. Yeah, it's on tier 6, so there's less of them and the timing will suck. But if you get it early and you have spells, it's kind of good. And oh yeah, do you like to hear the sounds of the deep blue? Is there nothing happier than you get to listen to him doing his thing? Well, here we go. Deep Blue goes from being a 2/2 spellcraft, give your minions +2/+2 until next turn. Improve your future Deep Blues to now being a 2/3 spellcraft, give your minions +2/+3 until your next turn. Improve your future Deep Blues. And yes, now the spell gives a +2/+3, and that is already sillier. I was having good games with Deep Blue already. Maybe people just didn't remember how it worked, but I gotta tell you, with the nerfs to the other tribes and with the buff to Deep Blue, I think it was already gonna be competitive without the buffing. So I don't know. I feel like we might be looking at the sleeper. No one's ready for it. but when he starts playing, we're all gonna hear it. Big Wig Bandit got hit with a nerf bat, and I think it's a bat because he goes from being a tier 3 3/4 to a tier 4 4/6. I'm gonna be honest with you, he needed this nerf badly. This is an amazing card. This is one of those cards where, yeah, once again, you're playing Reno, you go 3-on-3, you find this thing, you're like, now you're gold, have fun, give me all of the bounties. Very, very silly at tier 3. Massive nerf to Big Wig Bandit. Still like it at tier 4. Obviously, I'm just sad because I have to wait a little longer to get it. Lost City Looter got a nerf that makes it feel more in line with what it does. It was a tier 4 5/5, now is a tier 3 2/2, and don't really care about its stats. I'm taking it for the bounties it gives me. And yeah, okay, we don't really care about them as much as being an end of turn thing at tier 4. I would hate buying this thing, but at tier 3, I don't hate it. Now it's going to give me potentially some decent value because bounties can be very good. And since bounties are all tier 3 spells, I never really understood him at tier 4. It didn't feel good enough. And this definitely feels like a better situation to me. Captain Sanders got the change we always needed him to have. Goes from being Battlecry Make a Friendly Pirate Golden, which was utterly useless, to now being Battlecry Make a Friendly Minion from tier 6 or below Golden. And that is huge because the fact that he could make tier 7s gold was completely broken. The fact that he can make a Bran instantly golden is still very powerful. But this makes a hell of a lot more sense. I love this change. Hot Air Surveyor goes from being a tier 5 5/8 to a tier 4 3/7. And folks, if you are generating blood gems with the changes they're putting into effect today, you might be able to generate more. This is certainly a better card. Getting those double buffs because you're applying 2 gems for every 1 is kind of phenomenal. If we can get enough gem generation going, we'll see. Gem Smuggler, major change. Goes from being tier 4 3/4 Battlecry, play a blood gem on all your other minions, to tier 5 4/5, play 2 blood gems on all your other minions. Once again, this one, yes, now there's less of them. But if you can get your gems buffed at all, you're now playing 2 gems, you triple it, you're playing 4 gems. It's pretty damn good. Obviously, there being less of them doesn't feel great, but still, it's kind of the same deal. If you want this, you already know you want this because you buffed your gems a bit and it's just useful. Friendly Geist got a big change too. Goes from being tier 5 7/3 Death Rattle, your tavern spells that give stat grant an extra 2 attack this game, to now being tier 4 6/3 Death Rattle, your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +1 attack this game. The question is, will this be enough to bring it in line now that everybody knows about it? It is a 50% reduction in attack, but yesterday in 2 different games, I lost to undead boards who had 900 attack. Over 900 attack in 2 separate games. That tells me that it was really easy to do. And I hate to tell you, but going from 900 to 450 is still too much attack. It's way too much attack. If you've nerfed elementals, who I was playing in those games, and now I have less stats, but now you have less attack, it's not gonna matter if I can't get anywhere near the health I had before because you destroyed me with 900. Okay, if you reduce me by 33% and reduce you by half, maybe now we've got a good equilibrium? Maybe? Probably not. I think it still might be a problem. Once again, we'll have to play games and check it out, but what do you think? I think this sounds like it might be silly still. But yeah, it is a 50% reduction, so maybe only 450 won't be bad. Never mind, we fixed undead. Anubarak! Nerubian King goes from tier 4 4/3 to tier 3 3/2. Poor Anubarak. Trying to stay relevant, just desperately trying to stay relevant and just cannot get out of his own way. Ride or die. This 2/2 is now a 3/2. And for the most part, I still don't give a crap about this minion. I'm not sure if anyone's having luck with this thing or using it much, but of all the tier 2s, this is one I'm usually not super happy to have, but maybe. Eternal Knight gets another change because, you know, we like to constantly change our Eternal Knights. Goes from a 5/1, has +1/+1 for each friendly Eternal Knight that died this game, wherever this is, to now being a 4/1, has +2/+1 for each friendly Eternal Knight that died this game, wherever this is. I know you want Eternal Knight to be relevant. I know you want it to be fun. Sadly, it's just not. But amen for keep trying. Jelly Belly getting a change. Goes from a 3/4 after a friendly minion is reborn, gain +1/+2 permanently, to now being a 2/3 after a friendly minion is reborn, gain +2/+3 permanently. So their initial starting stats, who cares? The buff being bigger is significantly better, but Jelly Belly, at least in the current meta, could never keep up with anything. Maybe this increase, because it is a significant increase, will make the difference to make this relevant to stay on your board for a while. We'll see. I don't have much hope for it. Noisel of the Many Faces. This card. I feel like, yeah, I've seen a couple builds where people have made it work, but I feel like those are the high rolls to the moon. For the most part, this is the most tier 6 janky garbage that they should just put something more interesting in its place. I just don't understand the appeal of this minion. It is currently a 3/9. Whenever you summon an undead, give your undead +1/+1 permanently, to now being a 4/10. Whenever you summon an undead, give all your undead +2/+1 permanently. But the issue with this is the fundamentals of undead, as your board is supposed to go out there and die. All of it. So those initial stats are only there for the first form. It's not like it's an aura effect, which would be ridiculous. It just feels really crappy. I don't know why Noisel stays around. I don't like it. Maybe it's just me. Maybe you're having phenomenal games with Noisel. But for me, this is almost always a dead card. So the following cards have received changes, but yeah, they're not functional changes. They're just curiosity changes to me. But the following minions receive text updates to better reflect their intended functionality with no gameplay changes made. But when you compare one and the other, they seem to be flip-flopping for the same reasons. But okay, Sky Admiral Rogers used to say, whenever you spend 9 gold, get a random bounty, 9 left. Now says, after you spend 9 gold, get a random bounty, 9 left. Okay, that's simple, right? But let's look at Vine Climber. It used to say, after you play an elemental, give it +2 and +2, improved by each minion you've played this turn. Now says, whenever you play an elemental, give it +2/+2, improved by each minion you've played this turn. But what blows my mind is they're the opposite of each other. Sky Admiral Rogers used to say, whenever you spend, now says, after you spend. Vine Climber used to say, after you play, now says, whenever you play. So they literally, like, flip-flopped each other. For this... Why? Just, huh? Does one hand not know what the other hand is doing? Please tell me I'm just misreading it. But it kind of feels like the wording changes literally just counteract the statement in the beginning when they kind of feel the same to me. Maybe it's just how my brain works. Sometimes I see things differently from you. You see things differently from me. What is obvious to you that makes complete sense is utterly unreasonable to me, and vice versa. Please tell me that those opening sentences, do they blow your mind? Do they melt your mind? Like, is it stupid? Do you instantly see what I'm not seeing? Please tell me in the comments about why I'm either 100% right or an idiot. They're both accurate. Hollow Rover used to say, rally, get a random magnetic mech. Now says, Divine Shield, rally, get a random magnetic mech. The only difference there is they oopsie forgot to put Divine Shield. So that one is just, yeah, we're clearing up an obvious screw up, but this one makes sense. We just forgot to put the Divine Shield part on. Now for the spell changes. Selfish Bounty used to read, old, give a minion +6/+6. New, give your leftmost minion +6/+6. What? Why? This just makes the turn harder to play. If you're an APM player, okay, it doesn't say start of combat, make your leftmost minion go +6/+6. So what you need to do now is when you get your Selfish Bounty, you need to now move the minion you want to buff to the left side of the board and then cast this? I understand, like, maybe the idea is we want to make it so you don't have to target an individual minion, but now you need to move that minions around. I don't feel like this is better. I feel like this just is an extra step. Well, we already have dancing minions and other shit in the client that doesn't work right. Having to move my minions more feels like a recipe for disaster, because I feel like I'm going to move it to the left, then I'm going to cast the spell, then it's going to move to the right and it's going to buff the wrong minion. Tell me 100% you think I'm wrong, or do you feel like your minions are going to dance all of a sudden and it's going to buff the wrong damn minion? I know it's supposed to be a visual thing, But how many times have you sold your biggest minion because they dance? And how easy can you see this during APM where you suddenly are moving things around quickly and you're like, oh yeah, I need to reposition this minion. And all of a sudden, boop, they're gone. Sanctify used to cost 2 gold. Now it costs 1 gold. And that kind of feels right. It's not that much of a buff. And often you're only buffing 1 or 2 minions as opposed to, unless you're lucky, playing max your entire board. So this is a good change. Nimble Wingbeat used to be give a dragon plus 10 health in Wind Fury. Now is give a dragon plus 8 health in Wind Fury. I'm fine with the change. It's still functionally the same. It's just a little less health. All good. Mounting Avalanche got a change. Sell a friendly minion, then choose an elemental to give it stats to. Now says, sell a friendly minion, give it stats to your leftmost elemental. And we're in the same land as the pirate one. And I actually just remembered why I think this change might have happened. And you might have already told me with the pirate buff, but hey, occasionally the targeting reticule for this errors out and you can't do anything. So maybe that's the reason for the change. But maybe instead of making me dance my minions around extra times, you just fix the targeting bug? I don't know. I know I'm just full of crazy weird thoughts, chat. I'm just a weird guy who's thinking of things that make no... Fix the bug? Oh, we're only $1 trillion company. Hold your damn horses, boy. We don't have that kind of money. We have some minions in spell pool changes now. The following minions have been removed from the minion pool. Windfall Tornado, out of here. Mooncatcher, who bought this? Who bought this minion? I know there's some weird builds, there's some things you could do, but for the most part, you weren't happy to be buying this on tier 2, right? Yeah, you had your tech plays where it was good, but 99% of the time, you didn't want to buy this damn thing. Young Murk-Eye gone, and yeah, you got Flopsome Flinger. Why do you want a young Murk-Eye nowadays? There's some use cases, but really, you're not so excited about young Murk-Eye anymore. He's not young anymore. He's middle-aged. It's time that he moves on. He's almost back to being old Murk-Eye. We'll see. Exceptional Caretaker gone. I don't mind cycling this card. I play it every now and then, but I'm never also happy about this being a card I have to play. So there we go. Banner Boar gone, and I am super stoked to see Banner Boar gone. I feel like this is always the card when you're like, well, this is the best thing to take. Almost feels like there just shouldn't be an option. It's like, what? Why does this have to be here? Just remove this, and they have. The following minions have been returned to the minion pool. Tardy Traveler's back. Oh, I like that one. Good for targeting spells. Poltron's back. Yeah, well, if it turns out beasts are powerful, enjoy. Crater Miner's back. I like this card. When you need to get a spell or just blood gems, like it had some good uses for it. I feel like it's a fun minion. I'm okay with this. We also have the tier 5 6/6 Merglin Burglar the Murloc coming back. After you play a Murloc, give a friendly minion and a minion in your hand +3/+3 is pretty big because this gives us a return to actually doing hand buff Murlocs again. Yes, folks, they're back again. We just fixed the spell ones and now we're switching back to hand buffing basically, or we'll still be doing spell buffing ones, but definitely Merglin Burglar is an interesting return. I kind of enjoyed this one because I like APM and cycling of a lot of creatures, and this will allow me to do some of that. Now, will it work? Maybe this meta, it doesn't fly. I don't know, but I'm going to be excited to give it a try tomorrow. And hey, mech players, tier 4, 5/5, Accordatron, magnetic at the start of your turn, gain 1 gold. Mechs, do you like having tons of money? But hey, why not play some of these? Just remember, whenever you attach a magnetic and you have a beatboxer, it also attaches to the beatboxer. So yeah, every Accordatron will actually be 2 gold a turn. And the more of them to stack, the more gold you get. And yes, you can basically have more gold than you know what to do with playing with Accordatron. Big change for mechs. This might, just maybe, make them a little more viable than they've been, which is essentially not very much. Let's give it a try. I have big hopes for this one. Now we have some quest reward pool changes, folks. Anima Bribe has been removed from the quest pool. Thank you. I hate this thing. Goodbye. Wondrous Wisdom Ball has been added back into the quest pool. Hell yeah. Do you want some random bullshit every time you hit refresh? Are you going to hit refresh at the last second of your turn and it's going to trigger so it takes a minute for the animation to play out, and before you can freeze it, there's a shop full of everything you wanted and it's gold? Yep. There it goes. off into the sunset, as only Wisdom Ball can do. I love Wisdom Ball for its randomness, its trolliness. Sometimes it's like, here's something helpful. It's anything but helpful. And other times it's a board full of tier 6 things early and it's stupid. It's broken or useless. It's just kind of fun. The following quest rewards are easy to complete: Rallying Cry, Tumbling Disaster, the Golden Hammer, Snicker Stacks, and Perpetual Incantation. And I gotta say, Rallying Cry already is one I often could finish in one turn. So easier? Okay. And then Tumbling Disaster, just take it out. Stop trying. I loved this one back in the day. It just doesn't seem to hold up. Unless you can complete it super fast, it's not really good. Perpetual Incantation, I like, but you have to complete this one a lot for it to be valuable, or at least a middling amount. It seems like you only can complete it a couple of times most of the time. So we'll see if this is a good change. The following quest rewards are more difficult to complete, and I'm happy. Magic Fin Relic is stupid easy to complete. If you pass gas, you've already completed it. Oh, was it on turn 4? Yeah, there you go, it's done. You just instantly, you farted and your quest is done. You didn't even look at the requirements. You just sat there, picked it, you farted and it was done. And you're like, oh, that was easy. And they're like, yep. And then you win, have fun. Temporal Tampering makes sense. This one is often far too easy to complete for a pretty good reward. The issue is, like, even if you make it middling and like you could complete this on turn 8 and 9, the spells are much better on turn 8 and 9 typically because you're on tier 4 and higher. So you're gonna get a better reward. So this one is, it all depends on what spells you find in the shop. And if it's too difficult to complete, it's just dead. So we'll see. Grim Refreshener. I hate this quest reward, but they're trying and they're doing a good job at making me want to play it now. Goes from being Avenge 3, gain a free refresh, to now being Avenge 2, gain a free refresh. That's at least, if you got wiped, if they destroyed you in your turn and you only had 7 minions with no summons, that's 3 free refreshes. That's 3 gold a turn. That's starting to very much reach value. That's pretty damn good. So I'm gonna have to start taking a look at how this one is to complete. Right now, for the most part, it still gets shut down by other ones. But if it's stupid easy to complete and it gives you that many refreshes, heaven forbid you're playing like Undead. And you're like, oh look, I got 10, 14 free refreshes this turn. Woohoo! You're gonna find the minion you need. So this one, definitely keep an eye on this one. If you've got the right board or the other ones are just too hard to complete, just take free rolls forever. You'll find the minions you need typically. Cycle of Energy is another one. Avenge 4, get a random tavern spell is what it was before. It's now Avenge 3, get a random tavern spell. A tavern spell! If you're on tier 6, these could be quite a bit of gold. And to just be like, yep, every 3 die, here's a spell. Yeah, there's gonna be times when it's just like, here's Tricky Trousers, here's Tricky Trousers, and you get a handful of Tricky Trousers and you're like, I have enough pants, please give me something else. And other times it's gonna be like, would you like a minion that's gold? Would you like to make a minion in gold? Would you like to make a minion gold? I feel like Avenge 3 feels really good for this one, we'll see. Cooked Book. They've already made it easier to complete. Now, after you buy a minion, give it +1/+1. Upgrade this is going to change to, after you buy a minion, give it +2/+2 and upgrade this. Maybe now, with it being easier to complete and them doubling the buff, you might be that guy who sits on tier 2 and just cycles 1 billion cards and gets big, and then slowly climbs and just doesn't give a shit. This will be interesting to see how it works out. I liked Cookbook back in the day. It's felt way too slow and I just kind of wanted them to remove it. But maybe now with the faster completion and doubling the buff, it's either gonna work or it's gonna be way too strong. Jumbo Warehouse got a big change and it kind of needed it. It was at the start of your turn, gain 8 gold and choose a greater trinket to buy. Now is gonna be at the start of your turn, gain 4 gold and choose a greater trinket to buy. I feel like 8 was way too much. Often I would just be like, oh, it's a free tier and a trinket. Now it's just gonna be, you know, you actually have to spend that gold on the trinket and maybe you can't just tier. So the good change on that one. I think they needed this one to begin with. I wish they'd done this last week, most of these changes, because I feel like all of these changes we already knew would be good changes. Quaint Boutique, and the same idea, went from being at the start of your turn, gain 8 gold and get a lesser trinket to buy. Now is going to be at the start of your turn, gain 4 gold and choose a lesser trinket to buy. Same deal. Why was it 8 gold for a lesser trinket? I mean, I know some of them were expensive, but mean, I feel like the Trinket's pretty good, and reducing the cost by 4 makes a hell of a lot more sense than 8. Basically, both these were, hey, auto tier and get a Trinket every single time. Now, at least you won't be able to do both most of the time. In one Trinket change, Behemoth Portrait has been removed from the pool. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please remove all other tier 7s and I'll give you more thank yous. Gameplay update. In order to allow for enough time to strategize during the more complex turns, later in the game, the turn timer has been increased by 10 seconds starting round 9 and after. Okay, can we have a thought? Could I have a Battle Pass plus or a Plus Ultra where, say, I give you an extra $10 a quarter and you give me an extra, I don't know, 50 seconds a turn after turn 10? I'll do it. I know that's probably not going to work because then the other people have to sit there for 50 seconds, but I'll pay $20 for that much, okay? If I can make my opponent sit there for an extra 50 or 30 seconds, I'll pay extra money for that. Also, I just need the time. It's just me being greedy. I need the time. That, or could we have a new queue for the elderly? Maybe we could call it Elder Battlegrounds. For those who have so much wisdom that they can't sort through it all to finish their turn in time most turns after turn, say, 10. That we don't have the mental acuity to get it down fast. But we can do it perfectly if we had just a little more time. Just saying. Call them Elder. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Bug fixes and game improvements. Battlegrounds fixed a bug where Motley Phalanx did not give permanent stats and returned it to the pool. Oh, okay. Yeah, it feels like a good fix. That's probably why Motley's been removed. I'm assuming they're back with this. Fixed a bug where Dune Dweller affected opponent's tavern as well when triggered in combat. Okay. Yeah, let's fix that one. Dune Dweller, stop buffing my opponents. Please just buff me. Thank you very much. Fixed a mismatch between the text functionality of Golden Goldrin, the Great Wolf, so its stats increase now correctly reflect the intended value. I mean, that's a lot of words that make sense. It was basically giving a different value from what it showed. Good fix, no complaints. Folks, that's the patch. That's everything. What do you think? Are you happy about these changes? Do they feel like finally the Battlegrounds is where I needed it to be? Or are you like, shit, everything's still on fire. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm running around the house. I hate everything. It's the internet. That's fine. That's normal. Just get off the internet, walk away for a little while. Take a nice little walk around your house, go around the neighborhood, come back, you'll feel better. Trust me. Don't touch grass though. It bites. So that's all the changes we've got. Everything we're excited about. Couple updates for the channel. Starting probably tomorrow at this point, I am driving to Ohio, which is like a 12-hour drive to drop my son off to college. We're gonna stop at like Niagara and silly shit to go see water pour over a hill. It's exciting. It's just something different to do. It's fine. Then we're gonna go there. We're probably gonna see like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Woo! Why not? You know, we're there. We're in Cleveland. Let's go check it out. And then drop him at college, spend a day there while they do all the parent orientation crap. And then we're gonna bounce, go visit some friends, then come back home. I expect to be active again with the channel. If I'm lucky, we get back on Sunday, and then it's conservative to say Monday, I'm back and ready to go. Realistically, Tuesday, I'll be back starting videos again, and then I intend to go hardcore and change a lot of stuff. We're gonna be putting out a lot more content for Battlegrounds, for other games. I'm gonna be looking for an editor, hopefully, to help with some of the work if there's any interest out there in the community and you don't, just this is something you've always wanted to do, it's something you know how to do. We'll be looking into that. We're gonna experiment with some stuff and see what new things we can do for the channel, because I love Hearthstone and I wanna keep making a ton of Hearthstone content. I wanna make different types and more, but I also wanna do other games just for my own peace of mind and to have fun, because Hearthstone's fun, but I've been playing it now nonstop for, I don't know, like 6 years, and it's kind of like at some point I like to do other stuff for the channel too, but I also want to ramp up and do more Hearthstone stuff, so don't worry, it's not like we're going away. All right, that's it. Let me know what you think about the patch, the video, the changes we're hoping to institute here. It's all hypothetical at this point because we have a lot of changes now because our son is going to college, and for the first time it's just going to be me and my wife home in this house doing our thing, which is going to be weird. Thanks for watching all. I hope you had a good time and I hope you learned a few things. I will catch you next time. Until then, have a good one. Later.